Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another Neverwinter video. And man, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but anyway, what we're going to get into today is a 2018 beginner's guide. Now this is just going to cover, like early tips and tricks for, people just starting on, whether you're starting Neverwinter PS4, Xbox One, PC, it doesn't really matter. They're all overall the same game. PC is just about 3 months ahead of content than the console version. So, regardless what version of Neverwinter you are playing, this guide is going to help you. Now, we're going to start by just talking about some of the races. Then we're going to go into classes, and then we're actually going to get into the game's town and all that stuff. I'm going to just give you guys a little detour, show you around, teach you about the ups and downs, how to start, what you're going to be doing, and all that fun and good jazz and all that stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about these races. So there's a bunch of races in Neverwinter, as you can see. Some are still locked that you have to pay for with cash, which I don't know why. That's just downright stupid. I mean, it's already stupid enough that Skyforge charges you for classes. This game is charging you for races. I don't know. This game needs to. It's 2018, guys. Get with the times. But anyway, you have the Dragonborn, the human, the half-orc, the wolf elf, the moon elf, the sun elf, the dwarf, the halfling, the half-elf, the tiefling, the drow, and the Menzoberranzan renegade. I probably said that all wrong, so please forgive me. Now you guys are going to notice here on the left-hand side of the screen that every single race has some special racial abilities that go well with particular classes. Now, straight up, I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this. My honest opinion, play whatever race that you want with whatever class. That's my honest opinion. But if you absolutely have to get the best stats and everything, with the race you want paired with a specific class, I'll put a link in the description below to another guide that I have on races and classes, and you guys can check that out. But in all honesty, pick whichever race and class that you want to be. That's my honest opinion. You guys, you're going to get extra stat benefits pairing certain race with certain classes, sure. But to my opinion, it's just, you're putting all this work into a character. Make it a character you like. That's just my opinion when playing an MMORPG. Now, next we're going to go over the classes. I'm going to explain to you guys, what all these classes are for, what each and every single one of them do. We have the Trickster Rogue for starters, which is going to be your typical Slayer, two-hand weapon-wielding ninja type of class. As you guys know, very high in dexterity, very fast-moving, good with critical damage and stuff like that. If you've played any type of, like ninja or two-hand weapon-wielding class, that whole Sword Art Online Kirito style thing, you pretty much know what you're getting into here. Fast attacks, high crits, kind of squishy. You get the picture. But it is your typical two-hand weapon wielding DPS. Next, you have a devoted cleric. If it isn't obvious, it's a healer. Personally, probably my most favorite healer in the game. These guys do have a lot of support and AOE heal abilities. They're just great to have on like any type of dungeon, anything like that. And they're just really good healer overall. Like these things are powerful, and they also make good support and decent DPS characters as well. The control wizard. Control wizard's basically your standard type of mage. It does use all kinds of different elements from fire to ice. There's arcane. There's all kinds of different attacks it has. It's a very big monster with AoE damage. Control wizards get pretty deadly. Really cool class to play if you like the whole mage style thing. The hunter ranger. This class is really cool. This is a hybrid of a two-hand weapon wielder and a range bow using class. This class I really like. Good critical damage and also pretty decent AoE damage. You'll be surprised. I really do enjoy using the hunter ranger a lot as well. Next class you have is the Scourge Warlock. This is more of your like dark magic kind of mage feel. So, you know, for those edgelordy type vampire loving guys, this is that class for you. It does use a little blade, but most of the time it throws it and does a bunch of magic attacks. Scourge Warlock's a pretty deadly class as well. I haven't played it too much, but it is definitely a lot of fun. So I would definitely check out the Scourge Warlock if you know dark magic's your kind of thing. The Oathbound Paladin, aka the Healadin. This is a tank, of course, but it is actually a hybrid tank and healer. Me personally, I'm going to say more of a hybrid tank and support. I don't see these very often used as just strictly healers. It's more so defending and supporting the group. I don't think it's, you know, too great to use just for solo healing. Now that's my personal opinion on there, but it's definitely a very good tank. It has all kinds of buffs, shields, and everything like that. This thing can be indestructible if you play this class right. My personal favorite, the Great Weapon Fighter, which is a two-handed sword, great sword wielding DPS, can also be built as an off tank. Not a lot of people realize or know that, but I personally have a build that I have with a Great Weapon Fighter where it can be pretty tanky and used as a tank. I tried main tanking with it. It wasn't too great at holding aggro, hate, threat, whatever you like to call it, but it definitely worked pretty well as an all-4 support kind of tank to back up the main tank in dungeons and raids and stuff. So it did work pretty well for that. But I wouldn't recommend it as building it for a main tank. Honestly, it's just a pretty mean DPS, very high crits. You know, a monster in PvP. I absolutely love this class. If you just like, you know, being strong, raw, deep into combat, just doing massive amounts of damage, trust me, the Great Weapon Fighter is for you. And there are some mean builds out there for Great Weapon Fighters by all kinds of content creators. Some of the stuff you can see this class do is just crazy. And last but not least, we have the Guardian Fighter, which is your typical sword and shield wielding tank. This is usually what your paladin would look like in most MMOs, but this thing pretty good damage, but it is a aggro holding machine. Like it has I believe it has just a passive ability alone that just increases its threat generation, if I'm not mistaken. This thing is if played right, it's an aggro holding machine. You'll never have to worry about having tanking issues or anything like that. But the Guardian Fighter overall, I would definitely recommend it as a. I'm not going to say I'd recommend it over the Paladin, but this is definitely the more dominant tank between the two. Now that's just to my personal opinion. But anyway, guys, now that we've gone over the classes and races, we're going to go ahead and get into the town, and we're going to talk about what to do in the beginning of this game. First startup Neverwinter is going to take you through this introduction story and a tutorial, give you a few small gear pieces and a weapon, teaching you just a basic auto attack of your class and all that stuff. But once you finish that tutorial, fight the beginning boss. I'm being very vague about it because I don't want to spoil any details or anything for anybody. You're going to be brought into a city that looks like this. This city is called Protector's Enclave. If you don't know what Protector's Enclave is, this is basically the main hub central area of this game. And I don't mean that as in Neverwinter's like an instance-based MMORPG. I just mean that this is the main place, even around endgame, where you're going to see a lot of people, from low-level players to high-level players, and of course, our personal favorite, all the gold sellers are, going to mainly hang out around here and stuff like that. But once you get out of that introduction area in Neverwinter, you're going to spawn somewhere around here with Sergeant Knox. In a build of the game earlier last year, it used to be a bit different where they stuck you, but usually you spawn somewhere around here. Sergeant Knox is going to give you a grand tour. He's just going to, tell you about Protector's Enclave, talk to you about some things, and then he's going to run you over here right to this guy, and you're going to get a basic outfit off of him. Not a gear set, just a cosmetic outfit that you can equip if you want to, or not quick. Right here, as you guys can see, at the bottom you have your fashion section. I'm currently not wearing any fashion gear because I absolutely hate the outfit this guy gives you. It literally looks like rags, and no, I'm not kidding, it literally looks like rags. But he's going to continue, and then Sergeant Knox is going to land right here in this very spot. And he's going to stay here until the end of time. Probably, or at least until you hit endgame. And then when you hit endgame, he's going to be back up here in the Grand Central area just for a little bit, to teach you a few things about endgame and stuff like that. And then guess what? He's going to bring his good old happy black ass back right down here, and this is where he's going to be, like I said, until the end of time. But Sergeant Knox is always going to be your go-to guy for questing. Now, the good thing about Neverwinter is the questing is very straightforward and simple. You're going to go into a new town or a village or somewhere that's in trouble and in danger. You're going to complete the storyline there. Guess what it's going to do? There's going to be dungeons, there's going to be skirmishes, trials and stuff you have to do in that town, questing, main quests, side quests, all that fun stuff. And then guess what they're going to do? They're going to send you right back to Sergeant Knox, and then he's going to send you to the next town. That's pretty much how the questing goes here in this game until endgame. One thing I do want to recommend for players to do is to get used to doing a lot of quests. I personally recommend going through every single one of the areas that Knox sends you to and doing all of your main and side quests, because not only are they easy ways to level up, but Neverwinter's endgame overall is based heavily on questing. Now don't get me wrong, there are dungeons, there are a few raids, there are trials, there are skirmishes and all kinds of other stuff to do that's going to help you gear up, get loot, unlock boons and all that stuff. But mainly it revolves a lot around questing, and I'm going to show you guys why. Now, boons are basically stat bonuses you get from different campaigns. Now, each one of these campaigns has a different set of boons done by a different set of quest lines and things you got to do under that campaign. The main reason you want to make sure you do all of Neverwinter's base storyline quests is because that quest leads you into one of your first boons. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the first one you'll probably get sent into is either the Maze Engine or Elemental Evil. It's one of these, but the storyline's basically going to send you right into one of these. I believe at level 70 you're strong enough to start Underdark as well, but I would probably go with Elemental Evil or the Maze Engine once you do hit endgame. So one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you finish your story. And as you guys can see, all these campaigns, they all connect to each other. So once you finish one, the next one unlocks, etc., etc. As you guys can see, some of the last quests, like I was saying, are you got the Maze Engine, Elemental Evil, Sharandar, Protector's Emissary. That's all going to run you into your level 70 quest line. So the main thing you want to do is you just want to run through the story, level up, earn some gear and stuff like that. And once you hit endgame, I believe they give you like a cloak and a few starter pieces of gear as well. But Elemental Evil is basically going to run you straight into like getting a beginner's relic weapon and all that fun stuff. But that's all for endgame. We'll talk about that in another video. So it's really cut dry and straightforward. You start the game up, go along with all your questing to your heart's content, and then endgame starts to take over your life. One other thing I'm going to recommend for players to do is joining a guild. Guilds definitely help you with a lot of buffs and things and stuff like that. They can overall like increase the power of your character. So I am going to recommend that you guys do join a guild. And the last thing I want to talk about in this video is basically your character sheet, your stats, and all that fun stuff. Every single time you level up, you're going to get points for unlocking new powers. These are basically, just abilities and stuff like that. Before putting a bunch of points into this, I would honestly recommend researching different, builds, or at least, just researching some of the moves buffs, passives, and things like that that your class has, so you know exactly how you want to spend your points into what abilities, because you are limited on the amount of points you get for your combat abilities and stuff. So you don't want to just spend them anywhere. You want to know what you're doing. So I would highly recommend researching that before you guys start that. Another thing you have also is your feats. Again, this is another thing I would recommend researching, just to go along with your current build. See, I can't tell you exactly what feats and stuff to unlock, because it all depends on how you want to build your character, and every single different class has different feat abilities. Like I have my heroic section to start with, and then I have a instigator, a destroyer, and a sentinel. These are 3 different types of builds for my specific class, and each class is going to run in that special way. So there's all kinds of different things you guys want to pay attention to and study up on, at least just before you start unlocking them. Personally though, you don't have to go onto YouTube, look at a bunch of guides and everything. As you guys can see on the right hand side of this screen, it tells you what your moves do and stuff like that. So I would say just honestly just see what moves you think would be a good build for your class. Now I would honestly recommend, if you want to go search other hardcore players and research their builds, by all means. But if you want to build something for yourself, just look through the moves, see what you like, see what would be a good build for you. But there is also the option to respec all these points in case you guys do use them up and you don't like the build that you have. But like most MMORPGs, especially free-to-play ones, it does cost money. So that's why I want to tell you guys, I would just recommend researching it before you spend a bunch of points into your character. But anyway, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this beginner's guide. If y'all enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. I want to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tanek127, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, peace out, take care.